What a difference a day makes. So with the 2nd of November, Powell just had his little speech. They raised rates by 75 basis points, which pretty much is in line with most expectations. I did consider the option they might raise by 50. They didn't. They did 75, although Powell did drop a few hints at the possibility that it might be the last time he does 75. I think that is the case now more so than yesterday. I feel like the next well, it would be December, wouldn't it? The next meeting they will raise by 50. It just feel like some of the things he said suggest that it's he's slowly going to level off, but he also said enough to make it a pretty bearish and hawkish announcement. So let's just take a look. You know what? Actually, let me move very quickly to Financial Juice, where it's a nice summary of some of the things he said. Now, for me, when I heard this, it is premature to consider pausing. I saw the market drop on that. And actually, I just thought, whoa, that's pretty bearish because I think a lot of people were talking about the pause. Um, everyone's looking for a pivot. Everyone's looking for a pivot. And he said quite a few things that just for me just threw the pivot right out the window. And if they start doing 50 basis points, something I said yesterday that might happen, I still thought it would be bearish. I thought you might have a little, a quick pop maybe that lasts 1.5 days, but ultimately raising by 50 basis points already now with the way the market is, something will break. And he did mention there's a lag, and that's one of the reasons why I also think it might be 50 next meeting, because he acknowledges that they've been raising rates quickly, and the consequence could come with a delay. So yeah, that's that. I am actually quite sure now. And plus, I also heard Jeff, what's his name, Jeff Gunlock talk on CNBC right after the market closed, and he actually said the same thing. He also thinks 50 basis points next meeting. He also mentioned how Powell acknowledged the lag. But here in red, you can see certain key quotes. So if we don't get inflation down, it'll become entrenched. Okay, nothing special. Okay, in December they will consider, but for me it was this one. It is premature to consider pausing. If we do not tighten enough, inflation will become entrenched. We want to avoid, yeah, this is another one. We want to avoid the mistakes of not tightening enough or loosening too soon. I mean, he really wants to become a bit of a Volcker at this point, and I think he's all in. He's sort of made his stance, planted his flag, and now he's going to stay there. And everyone's waiting for that pivot. And he did also say if something happens, there's a recession or whatever. I'm paraphrasing now. He needs enough room to be able to deal with it, and you're not going to have enough room if you're at 2, 3, even 4%. He needs to be able to cut significantly and not be at sort of 3% federal funds rate, which would guarantee not only that they can't really cut enough to stem off the financial crisis, but also ensure that inflation gets entrenched. If you imagine inflation is still high, 8, 9, 10%, and then he has to cut rates. So for me, and I did say this before, the market's still bearish. So back to the SPY, what have we got? Well, as you can see, we have the SPY getting completely crushed, close at low of day. The NASDAQ, which was underperforming, crushed more than anything else. And look at that. That's one more day. By Friday, we're testing the lows and we're flushing. This huge, bullish, engulfing, sort of Gandalf style candle. Again, it's always that one day, and it's just everyone gets bearish. The Dow Jones, which looked so good, 3 days, sort of bearish yesterday. Bam! I thought this would happen actually, especially on the Dow. It's got a long way down to go, and it will go all the way down. It will. It'll be all the way back down here in like 4 or 5 trading days, not even early next week. See you later. I don't even know how much of a percentage move that is. Oh, yeah, that's 2 days, 3 days. Early next week. Russell, very soon to be under 170, and then we're testing the lows. But for me, the NASDAQ will lead the way. And you can see, there was some stocks like what is it? Sorry, Microsoft. Where are they all? The Googles, the Microsoft making new lows. These are the big boys. Amazon's, Microsoft double bottoming, obviously going to go lower, probably hit this ascending line, which is a pretty long term one, and then bounce 1 or 2 days and boom, flush that. They're all getting crushed. Apple, which has been so strong, see you later. That'll come all the way back down here. Wait till Apple starts making new lows, then everyone's going to start crying. So that was the well, let's just finish it off. That was the general markets. The VIX, to be honest, should have done way better. My God, I didn't even notice that. The VIX should have been up like 6-7% or something. That's really weird. That's really weird, actually. I don't even understand that. Anyway, who cares about the VIX? But that is weird. Let's just see what happens tomorrow. I think we're just going to continue, just lower. We had a massive move up, and now everyone's just had a reality check. Why would it not keep going? So let's look at interest rates. I usually go to interest rates. I also said it will be back to regularly scheduled programming. Market down, yields up. Look at this. The 1 year basically touched its high. The 2 year, which is typically the strongest one, basically ready to make new highs as of tomorrow. 5 year going back up. 10 year, probably the most important one, had a nice little pop. It'll take a few more days to get to the top, but it'll get there. The 30 year, slowly, just more inversion stuff. Yeah. Let's see how the Europeans react tomorrow. I mean, obviously, Powell mentioned he had his talk, he had his announcement after the DAX closed. So don't expect the DAX to do well tomorrow. It will have to make up for it. Probably see you at 13,000. Probably be underneath 13,000 actually. Back to its 12,400 to 600 range. This sort of range here in a few days. So market's going to go lower. Yield's going to go higher. The dollar's going to go higher. You can already see that's also sort of followed the yield. So that'll go all the way back up to 113.5-ish, come into some resistance, and then break out to 114. And you know what? We might just do it. We might just get to that 120-ish zone. Obviously not in one go, but that is what you call a bear market rally. And that is the ideal reversal signal. We had 3 days of sideways. Yesterday it was sort of bearish, right? Let's look at the SPY, 3-way sideways into some early resistance in some of the charts. I mean, the SPY was at its resistance, the Dow was at its resistance, kind of up here. 3 days, and then bam, this huge outside reversal, close at low of day. It's beautiful. Gold and silver. I mean, gold was kind of bearish, then it looked okay. And then today, actually, at some point, it looked very good. The markets were generally up. And actually, initially, and this always happens on Fed news, the market goes one way and then it goes the other way. And I said this before, you can kind of almost buy anything and you can buy it and make money and sell it and make money. You got to be kind of quick and you got to have some emotional strength. But there's always a bit of a sideways, sort of initial. Yeah, this is what I mean on the 1 minute. Pops higher, flushes, goes lower. And you could open up any asset class. It's probably the same thing. Here's just randomly the 5-year interest rates. So anyway, back to the metals. Let's go to the daily. Sorry, silver looked very good at one point, all the way up here, up like almost 2% or something, crushed all the way back down. But silver still, it's really strong. I know it's down 1.5%, but relative to gold, the chart looks good. But again, gold bearish. I mean, look, tomorrow will basically test and lose 1620, I think. And if it's not tomorrow, whatever, it's Friday or it's Monday, but we're going to get to 1620. I don't see why it won't flush. There'll probably be a fake flush and it comes back up, but we're going to go to 1600 and then maybe 1570. And if you've got gold doing that, silver's going to have a hard time sort of holding this $18 range. We could get to 17, but still, if it's very strong at 18 and it'll be even stronger at 17. So I think the whole area is a bit of a buy. I can't wait for it to get there. I've been waiting for this quite a lot. In fact, my last sell in the gold and silver area was, I mean, and I'm trading the miners. I'm not even sure. It was the last time it was here. It was this circle area, or maybe it was, no, it couldn't have been there. I was on holiday. It was here. And, when I was on holiday, I was like, oh, should I buy? And I didn't. Should I sell? I didn't. And I won't buy until we're back down at 26 on the GDXJ and the equivalent, 22-ish on the GDX. And it'll be very low buying because I think gold and silver will flush and therefore it'll get to 20 on the GDX and 24-ish on the GDXJ. That light buy is just for general sort of strategy, the way I buy, I guess. Plus there'll be a fake flush. If there's any rally, I sell into it. I like to buy and, buy low, sell high. So, generally speaking, everything down except for VIX, yields, and dollar. Although the VIX, that was a bit strange. I wonder if anyone's caught up on that because that's really weird. What else should I cover? I don't want to make this long. I like to make the videos a bit shorter. I'm not going to go into any individual stocks. The miners got crushed. We saw that on the GDX. GDXJ was down like 5%. I did notice a lot of the crypto stocks ready to make new lows. Look at the main ones. You got sort of Riot, Mara. Okay, maybe not MicroStrategy, but look at Coinbase. There are some big boys, Bitfarm, new lows coming. What else? Some of these big mineral mining stocks, Rio Tinto, Freeport McMoran. Well, more Rio. I feel like Rio Tinto is ready to, and it's got a similar chart to the GDX. Fill this gap. In fact, this is way too close. I wouldn't buy this anymore. You got to adapt to the times. We're there basically today/tomorrow. We're going to move more than that. So, Rio Tinto, you get to the low 40s maybe soon. Mid 40s, then low 40s. Uranium, I wanted to buy CCJ for a while. That'll take 1 or 2 days. I think everything's going down. Petrobras, another stock that I've wanted to buy in a while, especially with the riots going on now in Brazil and Lula winning. Plus the general market's going down. You get that at 12, maybe flush. I'm not going to buy that. The oil stocks have made new highs, so I'm not going to buy that for a while. Biotech, no. China got destroyed. Roku just had earnings after the bell, destroyed 20%. Some of the large caps just generally slaughtered. Which one? Another one, Robinhood, I think was positive. Whatever. I'm not interested in Robinhood. I'm not interested in any of them. I am, but not now. After what's happened, I mean, look at this. No, even the ones that looked good, they don't look good anymore. I mean, look at AMD, Nvidia. I mean, it's just going to go down. The market's going to go down for quite some time. You've got the next Fed meeting in a month. We've had a massive rally, and we've just had a massive guaranteed bearish candle in the general market. So I wouldn't buy anything. A lot of these are good deals, in my opinion. That's why I'm watching them, but it's just going to go lower. It kind of has to. So anyway, finally, I'll end with crypto, which I must say, a bit like the VIX, did not act like I expected. I mean, Bitcoin down 1.5%. You'd expect sort of down 5% or something, right? If the Nasdaq's down 3.5%, you'd at least expect it to match the Nasdaq. So Bitcoin just has this tendency to not impress me on the way down or on the way up. It's just very much sideways. It's really strange. However, if I had to choose, I'd be bearish because of, the market's about to go lower. So can't exactly become bullish Bitcoin because of that. So what will happen? It'll just drift into the 19,000s. And then, to be honest, let's just see how it reacts. Down here, there's a lot of accumulation, but it's not exactly much thrust. So Bitcoin and VIX are slight anomalies, but otherwise it's regularly scheduled programming, dollar up, interest rates up, markets down, commodities down, cash is king. And let's see what happens tomorrow. I hope no one got slaughtered today. But yeah, good luck.